at M&T Bank Stadium for preseason game number 2, where the Baltimore Ravens were able to lock in a 13-12 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. And it was a much better showing for the offense this week. They were able to accumulate over 300 yards, and compared to last week, they were only able to muster up a little bit over 100 yards. Also, Josh Johnson, he looked much better, much more efficient this week. He was able to go 11 for 11 with over 100 yards on the day. And for him, he just said he had to go back to being him. In addition to that, Emory Jones, he had a rough week last week with the fumble, and Coach Harbaugh said after that game that it's just a part of his learning experience. Well, Jones responded today with a 56-yard touchdown to Dayton Wade, and his fellow counterpart and the veteran in the quarterback room, Josh Johnson, had these remarks to say about Wade's day.
I was excited for the young fella because we see it every day. We know him got all the skills, make all the throws, show his talent every day. You know, it was just an unfortunate situation. But like all of us, he responded. He came back, he responded. He was real calm, cool, collected out there. He took his film work to the game, and he was able to go out there and put on a good showing, so I'm happy for him.
The second touchdown of the day came from Owen Wright. The running back is still in the mix for that number 3 role, and it's definitely a competition right now between him and Rasheen Ali. He was able to haul in a 6-yard touchdown from Josh Johnson. It did have to be reviewed, so he talked about the feelings as he was waiting to see whether or not it was a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I scored initially. I told her, I scored. And I looked on the screen after the review. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. I got in on that. But like I said, after, I just felt, just amazing. Like, just so excited and happy that I scored and put on for the stage, to the team, for sure.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Ravens got a boost with David Ajabo making his debut. He's been injured for a little over a year, and so he was in the game today. He looked good, he looked comfortable, and he was impactful, and that's what you want to see when you have a guy coming back from injury. So hopefully he'll be ready for week 1, and from what I can tell, I think he will be. Also, while we're talking about linebackers, Trenton Simpson continued to wreak havoc on the field. He's another guy who, he said after the game, he's ready for week 1. So you could just see that Trenton Simpson's going to do just fine alongside Roquan Smith this season. And then we also have Tavius Robinson, who made the big play at the end of the game that saved the touchdown, or I should say that saved the 2-point conversion. And if the Falcons would have gotten that 2-point conversion, they would have gotten the victory. But Tavius Robinson was right there to stop Jace McClellan from making it into the end zone. Here's what he had to say about being able to stop them after giving up the touchdown.
I think whenever they're taking score, we want to win regardless of preseason and regular season. So, it means a ton to make that play and come up with a W. So.
Last but not least, in my earlier Ravens rundown, I talked about the new dynamic kickoff rule, and the Ravens were using the preseason to see how that shakes out. For the most part, it looked good, aside from Justin Tucker getting penalized for not being in the landing zone. You could tell that he was upset about that. I'm sure that they will fine-tune that, and that's what the preseason is all about. Next up, the Ravens will be in Green Bay for joint practices, and they'll also have their last preseason game there on Saturday, where these young guys are looking to make a name for themselves so they can make this Ravens roster. This is Carita Packs. This has been your Ravens Rundown. Be sure to follow Bowie TV Sports for all your Ravens content.